Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans. Welcome to Talking in Ovals. How is everybody doing out there on this Monday, January 12th, 2026? Dave, what's up, brother?
I just want to start off the whole show with a huge shout out to Blair Bartlett.
Yeah.
She was the
Jersey,
top
baby.
American at the World Cross Country Junior Championships, 16th place overall. I mean, I think back to how fast she was running in September. The fact that she's able to run this fast that long is an absolute testament to her and her coach, and it's an absolute pleasure to watch her compete every time that she runs. So Blair, congratulations to you, an absolutely phenomenal effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care who they are, where they're from, what they do. If they're representing Jersey and they are going and crushing it, I absolutely friggin' love it. So I second that. So wherever you guys are watching from, we appreciate that, whether it's YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch, or Kick. Thank you very much. Make sure you click that thumbs up button and that you like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff before you run away today. And then also go follow us at Talking in Ovals on all the social medias. So we have an exciting show. Last week, though, we had Dave Slavinsky on, who we had a fun time talking to. He's a multi-time world champion in his age group for a triathlon and duathlon. He has, we've had Ivy, his daughter, on the show. Blake's a monster. And we plan on having Blake. We plan on having his wife on. We are going to make it a Slavinsky Fest at some point. We're just going to name it like Talking to Slavinskys at that point. Like we'll redub the show. But no, Dave, it was fun listening to him.
Yeah, and we also found out that Blake's going to stay local. He's going to go to Rowan.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic news. Again, staying Jersey people, staying in Jersey. We wish we can have that happen more with all of our friggin' Jersey talent. Like, could you imagine, Dave, if our best Jersey talent, men and women, XC, track and everything, just decided to go, you know what, let's just populate all the New Jersey schools.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, we'd have national championship teams left and right. It's
absolutely
monstrous. So we always love all that type of stuff. We're always bleeding Jersey. So anyway, let's bring in our guest. He is another one of these individuals that we've had on before, but he is, I want to call him a legacy because he was there before we did the live streaming thing. We recorded, I chopped it up. He sounded great. I made us two dummies sound good at the beginning because we didn't know what we were doing. No. And then we went away. But no, here we are. He is live with us. He is Coach Sean McCafferty. He is the head XC coach over at CBA. Coach, what's going on?
Not much. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing well. I am excited to have you back on. Like I said, you were here with us when we were just starting out and we were recording. And I said to you pre-stream, I'll say it to you again on this show. Obviously, I praise Dave all the time for his friends and that he helped us build the show. And you being one of them, that without you and the fact that CBA is so friggin' prominent and you guys are awesome at what you do all the time, you gave us some legitimacy. People, I think, stopped looking at us with you and the other coaches that came on and was like, all right, we don't know who these two idiots are, but we know who Sean is. We know who Wilfredo is. We know who, like, all these other individuals that came on. So
I think it's still the same way.
No, they still don't know who the hell we are. But no, we appreciate you jumping back on, Sean.
Of course. I love being on. It's great.
I see you guys in the chat. I appreciate you all. Los Pollos 11 and Stephen A. Smith over there. Thank you guys. We will get to you guys over here. Chat, how's the stream so far? I hope it's good. We just started Los Pollos. Come on now. Don't judge us yet. But all right. So what I want to do is, as we do every single week, we are going to start off with our PRs from the gentleman that always sends them to us, Tom Figueroa, Coach McCafferty. We're going to start holding your feet to the fire to start sending us some PRs from the CBA guys. But we have Coach Figueroa coming here. He's saying, good afternoon, guys. We were back at GVSU, Grand Valley State U, this weekend with a new list of PRs for the show. Huge congratulations to our girls 4x800 meter relay team for winning their event with the time of 10:04. What makes this win even more special is the youth of the squad. The relay was comprised of 7th, 8th, ninth graders, helping our lone senior take the top spot. That's freaking awesome. Congrats for
cool.
that. So let's jump in, and I can just butcher some names. So let's go. So with the gentlemen, we have a 10th grader, Aiden Palacios, ran the 60. He ran an 8:07. Then with the ladies, a 10th grader, Anna Howell. I could do that one. That's an easy one. Ran the 200 and 28.77. Macy Gable, 10th grader, 229.34. Then we had Lily Cummings, an 11th grader, ran the 1600 and 5:50. Lydia Dwyer, a 9th grader, ran the 1600 and 5:28. Tala Carlin, the 9th grader, ran the 1600 and 5:24.92. Allison Castellano, a 7th grader, ran the 1600 and 5:35.88. And then we had a freshman, Javier Garcia, ran the 1600, 5:38.03. Caleb Shigoda, see, I'm getting it right now. Freshman ran a 1600 in 5:41.69. And last but not least, Evan Hernandez Cruz, a 7th grader, ran the 1600 in 6 minutes, 0.74. So congrats to all the individuals who got their PRs, and congrats to the ladies in the 4x8. Which that's awesome for you over there, Coach Figueroa, and everything that you guys are doing over there. We always appreciate the PRs. It's always fun. All right. So, Coach, we want to get right down to the nitty gritty with you. We're not going to waste any time. We've gotten your running journey before, so we ain't doing that again. That's old news now. We want to talk about this season's journey because Dave and I, from the outside looking in, we said from the jump with this XC season coming, we thought that the depth of your team was something to be reckoned with. And obviously, Joe Barrett's not here, right? And that Joe was headlines, right? He was one of the best runners, if not the best runner in the state last year. So losing an individual like that is fantastic. Is always tough. But we looked at him, we're like, the depth is insane. And I think from the get-go, Dave and I were like, this is a Nationals level team depth-wise, right? So when you were coming into the season, tell us a little bit about your XC season and kind of just give us a rundown of how things went for you guys.
Yeah, so last spring, I think we averaged 906 for our returners for 3,200.
Yeah.
And we averaged like 413 or 414. And that was just the top 5 returning guys. We were thin, though. We had 5 guys. And we knew the rest of the guys, we were going to be young. And it was going to be a matter of filling in that 6, 7, 8, 9 guys as best we could. But we also had 2, injuries in June, right at the end of the season. So it took a while for us to get moving in the right direction. So 2 of our top 5 didn't start really running with us till end of August. Excuse me. And so as we progressed through the fall, I really wasn't sure what to expect. We went to the shore coaches meet. One of our guys was visiting Florida State. So we still won and still had a really good race. We beat pretty much everybody we needed to. I knew that Haddonfield was having some health struggles.
Yeah.
I thought they were the best team in New Jersey after us and in the Northeast. But I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to put it together. They came to camp with us, and so I know them very well. But I even on November 8th, after the state meet, or November 7th, whatever that weekend was, I guess it was the 8th, I didn't think we were all that special at that moment. We were kind of all over the place. I think the guys on the team thought they were really, really good and kept talking like they were. But I didn't see it at that moment. The state meet we had, our guy Sean Galvin did not run well. He ran like 16:23. It just was not a good race. It didn't really come together well.
So real quick,
yeah, go ahead.
How big is that, though, that even though maybe you as the coach weren't fully seeing that, for your upperclassmen, your leadership, to keep that belief going amongst the team? Was it something that you saw? Was it belief and confidence? Was there cockiness that you were trying to kind of squish down as a coach? Like, how was that being projected in that they thought they were good? Because obviously there's 2 different ways. And as a coach, if it's confident, if it's great leadership, even if you not see it, you let it rock, right? Like, good, we want that. But if it's that we're CBA, so we're going to come, you know what I mean? Like, so what were you seeing there?
So I think there was a little bit of myself, my other coaches, Connor Lunny and Carl Torsha,
Yeah.
and the kids just thinking it was going to happen. We ran really fast in the spring. It's just going to happen. And I think midway through the season, I started to see like, I don't see it happening at the moment. And after that state meet, the boys were, I saw an interview there. Hey, we're going to break the course record at Homedale. I'm like, guys,
I remember seeing that.
I saw that too.
I
Yep.
remember
Yeah.
seeing that, and we talked about that. And it's funny too, because as you're saying it, I remember us having the conversation and looking at it, going, "Oh, this is realistic." Like Dave and I were like, "We're not going to doubt it." Like, and it's funny because you have a different look, obviously, right? Especially with these guys better. You know how they ran in the past, what their expectations are, the history, that course. Like everything going into it. So us as spectators, we're watching and looking at the interview going, they have the belief. We're not doubting CBA, and especially the gentleman that gave that. Like, those are two of your lead guys who were running well at the time, especially.
Yeah. So after that meet, I started a group chat with them, with just them, not the rest of the team. And I think when you really want to get something rolling as a leader, you have to be brutally honest with the people in front of you that you're trying to lead. So I just said, guys, like, you want to do all these great things, but that's not the team you guys are. They were a little disjointed. They were kind of all over the place. I think the last couple of years we've had such strong personalities on the team that graduated,
Yeah.
that it kind of left us kind of, like Wyatt. I know he's a senior. He was kind of in a tough place because he was such good friends with the year before and the year before that. And three of the guys, Collins and Sean and Luke Nat, Sean Galvin, are all really close. So Gavin and Wyatt were kind of on the outside at times. And I think it took almost the whole season for that to gel a little bit. Because Gavin was always good friends with his older brother and that group of guys. So in that moment, they just they didn't really respond to what I said. So I said it again. And I wrote in the chat, I said, guys, you're talking a big game, but that's not what you guys are right now. And Luke Nat and Gavin Schmidt both jumped in and said, he's right, guys. We are not that team. And then they stopped talking, and we had an amazing workout on Tuesday. I mean, I told them, I said, guys, you're going to win New Jersey. Yeah. You're going to win the Northeast. But, are you going to be that transcendent team, or are you going to be a really, really excellent team, And they took it to heart. And that next week, man, they came together, and wow. And then the week after that, what they did at Bowdoin was
insane.
I still can't even. I don't even understand how they were able to pull it off. We got out so poorly too.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah, and they just kept running.
What has the addition of Bowdoin being more consistent on the schedule kind of done in terms of changing things up, right? Because Homedale was used to like to be the big one, and that's where people want to go. And then Battle of Monmouth kind of gets thrown in there, and that's a tough course too. But Bowdoin, it's traveling, it's a little more regional. You're getting a little more of the feel of, okay, these are the teams that we're going to have to compete over in regionals, right? Like these are some of the individuals we're going to see, some of the more top teams. Connecticut, New York, they're in there. You'll get some perennial powerhouses from Albany. You get some of the good ones like Xavier and stuff coming there a lot of the time. So what is the addition? Because I remember, I don't know how many, it's been at least 5, 6, 7 years now that Bowdoin has really filled in that schedule, or how long has it been? Because I remember they've been big, but it's kind of gotten more and more clout with some of the meets there.
Yeah, having the regional there.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, for maybe 15 years now, has really given it clout. The Bowdoin Classic has been kind of ebbs and flows with who shows up. It kind of depends on the good teams and where they're from. If they're Connecticut teams, it's very close for a lot of Connecticut teams, so that it's less than an hour from any of them. So I think they show up a lot.
This is my backyard. I live 2 feet. I'm the next town. I'm in Poughkeepsie. So
right.
I'm always a jerk, and I'm always doing something. Well, I'm usually in Jersey visiting my mom or something every time Bowdoin's on the schedule. I need to, Dave, you need to tell Adele that she can't see me that
I will.
weekend,
Say,
okay?
hey,
she likes you better
let
than
Alex
she
go.
likes me.
Oh, obviously.
Hold on real quick. I have to respond to this. Dave, we got some 6-7s in the chat. Dave, you going to do it for him?
No, because
Go ahead, Dave. Do it.
they are kids on my team.
Do it,
Just
Dave.
don't even pay them any mind.
You know what? I'll do it for him. 6, 7.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. All right, go ahead, Sean. Sorry about that. Keep going.
Anyway, yeah. So Bowdoin is it's the thing that gets you to Nike, and
Yeah.
most years there's probably going into September 5, 6 teams that think they have a legitimate chance to get there, and there usually is. So it becomes a focus for many teams, and it's a very different course than Homedale. It's a very different course than what most people run. That middle from about 800 into the 1.5 miles is
rough,
as hard as it gets.
That second mile is miserable. Like, it's all uphill. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's
not just the second mile. It's the playground right by the 1,000-meter mark, and
it's not
right before the mile you start climbing as well.
It's such a mean course. It's not
and then what's worse is you come down the hill, which I think in the moment is fast, but after the race, that's what really beats you up. Those steep downhills on your quads. So
yep.
It's a good course. It's tough to have a regional there. We get a week off now before Nationals, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
But it was very difficult to race there on Saturday, travel on Wednesday, race on Saturday in the Nationals. It was very, very difficult to deal with. If there was any mistake, you really couldn't fix it. So with the week off, it's been a lot better and easier to handle.
So you mentioned earlier, so after the group race, when those guys really came together and then ran those times, did you start to kind of think, okay, maybe these guys are starting to respond and maybe they are better than I thought that they were?
I knew they were physically very good. Our workouts were tremendous. We did a workout, I think the week of the Meet of Champions at Homedale. That was just, it was amazing. And so I knew they were good enough to do it. I also knew Luke and Gavin were going to run in the 15:20s or faster. I knew they could. So it was just a matter of, can we get those other guys to buy in and believe? And it's funny. I saw Sean Galvin's mother the morning of the Meet of Champions. He had run very poorly at the state meet.
Yep.
And she said, I think he's locked in. He was listening to Metallica very loudly in the shower. And the last thing I said to him before I walked away from the starting line, I said, Sean, it's not the fall, it's the rise. And he smiled at me, and I knew he was going to run well. So he was a big key to that.
Yeah.
That team. I mean, he outkicked Brody Watt coming down the straightaway. Brody Watt is an amazing runner.
Yeah.
Has run 151 or 152. So, physically, I knew they could do it. It was just a matter of telling them that you can't just let it happen. You have to go do it. And I think Joe last year was the guy. He just went after it. I mean, he was he redlined as much as he possibly could.
He was an absolute dog. He really was.
Yes.
He was.
Yes. And I think
he
these
wanted
guys,
that. Like, Joe saw the target on his back, knew it was coming from junior year, right? He had a really good junior year, and I didn't think he accomplished everything he wanted to junior year, but he knew that the target was going to be on his back senior year, and he friggin' welcomed it. Like, he embraced it, and you have some runners that are like that on the men's and women's side that see that target and are like, cool, come get it. Like, Natalie Dumas is very much like that. Like, you have like some of these that just, they enjoy that, and he thrived in that.
Yeah. And we had a couple moments earlier in the season, like the short conference. Luke Nat was sick. He had a stomach bug.
Mm-hmm.
He did a workout the day of the short conference, but he missed a couple days that week. So nothing in his lungs or anything. It wasn't anything that was going to set him back, but he missed the short conference. And Gavin Schmidt got to race Jay Adamalo Colts Neck and ran really well in one and had an amazing kick. And I think that gave Gavin so much confidence moving forward.
Yeah.
And I also think Luke started to slowly but surely come out of his shell. I think the year before it was follow Joe Barrett, race Ryan Schmidt, and now it became his show. And I think he started to embrace that a lot towards the end of the season, and you can see it in his performances. Him winning the Meet of Champions was a very proud moment for me as a coach. So
what are the so real quick, Dave? What are the challenges for you as a coach? Somewhere like CBA, who you're more than likely the work that the younger guys put in when they get to seniors, like your Lukes, like your Gavins, that hard work kind of sometimes takes over, right? Because that work ethic is there, and you're gonna have a pretty damn good top guy, top two. What's the challenge of getting some of those younger guys from that 7 6, 5, 4 to not just kind of watch, right? Like not just kind of enjoy what they're seeing, but understanding like
Their role.
your
Yeah.
16-20 is just as valuable as their 15-30. And because we need you to get that 16-20 to the 16-10. Like, what is that challenge of don't just watch the greatness. You have to be a part of it because we're a team in XC and these are our team expectations over those individuals.
That is the hardest job.
Yeah. Because it's fun. I could imagine last year watching Joe Barrett do what he was doing. It was like, man, I just want to be on the starting line and just see what he finished with. Like, but it's like you got to race too, man.
Yeah. So some kids immediately understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Joe Barrett was one of those guys, and it's partly he was good. I mean, I think he ran 16:24 as a freshman.
Yeah.
Gavin Schmidt was one of those guys that got it right away. Luke Nat, I don't think did, right? Luke Nat wasn't, he ran 16:25 as a sophomore, but didn't make our top 7.
Right.
And he could have. I think it was just a matter of like him being a little more confident, right? And so every kid's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right now, we have a big job of closing that gap that we need to close. We had Liam Schmidt, sophomore, run 16:21. He PB'd by 34 seconds at the Media Champions. And that was a big step for not only him, but a lot of the guys in the team, because a lot of the younger guys looked at that and said, oh, I train with him every day. I can do that.
Sure.
So a lot of it is just giving them opportunities to succeed, putting them in races where they're running other varsity runners. They're challenged, not just in a JV race or freshman race where they're winning by 10, 15, 20 plus seconds, where they're actually racing and challenging. And even if it isn't super successful, it's they start to see the light of what it's going to be, right? And also
different from 14, 15, 16-year-olds. And
yes,
you might be a little bit better in that 17, 18-year-old, but they're race savvy, right? And then it teaches those young guys, just because you're faster doesn't mean you're going to run a better race. Sometimes they're just smarter and tactically better. And in cross country tactics, and especially distance running in general, tactics play a huge role.
And I'll tell you what, at that level, right, for Luke Nat, Gavin Schmidt, tactics is a really important thing.
Yeah.
For those younger guys that are finishing in the top 30 or 40 media champions, it's all about confidence, believing in yourself, and taking shots.
Yep.
And if they don't take shots, they're not going to run fast. I honestly think if you have a kid who runs 17 minutes at Homedale, they can easily run 16:35 if you convince them to do it. And I say that to coaches sometimes, and they give me these blank stares. And like, what is 17 minutes at Homedale? 5:40 pace? Is that correct?
Something
somewhere,
like that.
Give or take, right?
Yeah, right now.
So and 16:30 is 5:30 pace, like.
Right.
And it's like the fear I think of Homedale takes over more than the actual Homedale itself, right? Because people are so damn worried about the bowl, they don't run that first uphill well, right? And they give away everything towards the end. And it's like that the key to Homedale: run that first uphill fast, attack the bowl, and then just get that last mile, right? Like you can't have fear of the bowl.
Yeah, and as a coach, you have to coach Homedale.
Yes.
And in practice, you have to do it. The uphill bowl is the least important thing in that whole race.
Agreed, 1,000%.
If you run hard up that bowl, you're done.
Yep.
It's, I think, 40 seconds of the race, maybe.
Yep.
But that start hill, we do that a lot.
Yes.
We do that frontwards, backwards run over and over and over again, just to practice feeling incredibly uncomfortable, but feeling okay.
And just that field, getting out in that field and not getting caught in, not being afraid to give it a little extra on that field, so you're have a little bit of a clear entering up to that hill. Because if you sit and you get relaxed and now you're boxed in that first hill, that can really hurt.
Sure.
You're a lot of your race in a lot of ways. There's still a lot of race left, but still want to get in some good position before you get up there.
Mike Mazzucaro, when he ran 15:19, which is the Teflon record at CBA, he just holds on to it. He was in 70th place coming out of the woods at the Media Champions.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can move up. It's you have to be a certain type of kid, and you have to really be ready for it. But like I said, the Tuesday before the Media Champions, we did a frontwards backwards workout, or it might have been before the state meet, I forget. And I think in the meet of champions, they were out at like 3:05 to that wooden bridge that's right after you exit the woods. And in this workout, we did 2 frontwards backwards, took a little break, did 2 more consecutive.
Yeah.
And on the second one, they were 3:10 coming through. So when they're out in 3:05 in a race, it's not hard.
No.
So you really have to do pieces of that course that matter. I used to focus a lot on the last mile, and I started to realize, like,
it's
just go run.
That's pure grit at that point. That's grit.
Yeah,
that is see a jersey, get a jersey. That's all that is, that last mile.
Yeah.
And controlling that downhill. Don't friggin' hurt yourself. Like, control. Don't go too hard. Your knees, it sucks on your knees and your hips. Not as bad as Bowden, but still sucks.
Well, I believe Luke and Gavin both finished the last like 0.96 in like 4:09, 4:10.
Jesus.
Which is closing on an under 4:20.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Gabe, I like this. I like this question. We got a question here. What do you think is the most mentally challenging track event?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the kid.
Sure. 100%.
Honestly. Just like workouts and different event types matter, I think mentality matters. And some kids, the 400 is brutal. And for other kids, they love it.
Yeah.
The 2 mile for some kids is easy. And for other kids, it's the worst thing they'll ever run in their lives. It's all about
mindset,
your own mentality.
Yeah, I agree with that. So continuing to go kind of with the team culture and stuff like that, how do you get some of those younger kids kind of back to the back end of like your varsity pack? How do you get them to kind of handle the pressure? Because obviously when you're entering into that varsity stage of CBA, the pressure is you're going to be contributing to a national level program, right? Like the goal is to win nationals, like that one of them, right? That's one of the goals. Obviously you figure out the team you have, but that's always in the cards for a CBA team. How do you kind of get them to not buckle under that pressure a little? Because it's got to be tough, especially like you said, when you have a bad race and you feel like you might have let your team down at that race.
Sure.
It's like, hey, we have many more to go. It's, there's a little bit of a difference from other schools where it's like our season's long. We have a long cross country season. Some schools are done at sectionals and groups, and maybe they have a kid or two go on. We're going on as a pack. So how do you kind of get them to handle that pressure?
So number one, we do everything with love on our minds, right? We love these kids. We want them to love each other. We want them to know that we love them no matter what, right? They make mistakes in school, misbehaving, things like that. We still care about them and love them. And even their teammates, like they have to care and love their teammates as much as they care about themselves. That is our number one job as coaches, as teachers, everything, So when we get those freshmen in, that is number one. We get to know them. We get close with them. We travel with them. In September, we go to Bowdoin and we bring a bunch of kids up just so they can get to hang out with us and hang out with the older kids on the team. And that's number one. Number two, we challenge them early and often. So our freshmen, we sit them down in September and say, okay, guys, we want to be the best team in the county, in New Jersey, and in the Northeast. These are the meets we do it. This is how we do it. So that's why we go to the shore coaches and we try to run a freshman team as fast as possible so that we can say, hey, we have the fastest 5-minute average of freshmen.
Sure.
And we go to Manhattan and they run freshmen and we try to be the best team up there. We compare them to teams across the country and it's usually the usual suspects, Niwot, Harriman, all those schools. And by doing that, you're teaching them that their goals are to be as best as they can be as people and as a team as they grow older. We run our JV team at the county meet most years, essentially to put pressure on kids that haven't had that before. Number one, give them an opportunity to run varsity. Yeah. And number two, hey, here you go. you're going to learn a lot about yourself in this race. And looking forward, we're going to need you to run in bigger races. But let's be honest, right? Dave and I are teachers, coaches. You can convince a child that this is the most important race of their lives.
Yeah, you can.
No matter what it is. Right? So when we go to Manhattan, it is the conversation for a month for the freshmen. We're going to Manhattan. We're going to try to be the best team in the Northeast. Let's go. Let's do it. And they get excited for it. And some of the kids struggle. Some of the kids do have anxiety about it, but they learn to work through it. And again, because they screw up and we put our arm around them and say, man, it's okay. Like, it's high school sports. Relax.
So when you do have to because I'd imagine there is some tough love side of it, right? Like, obviously you're a coach, you want to hold them to account. Now, I think one of the things that we tend to forget when we're dealing with these high school athletes is they're going through puberty. They're going through a ton. They're changing chemically, mentally in so many different ways, right? And like you said, sometimes they put these meets that we didn't do on them, but they put that's the meat that they have to break out in. Biggest meat on the planet, right? So when you do have to do those moments of not necessarily discipline, but holding them to account as young men, how do you go about something like that? And if you were a young coach and you had to deal with a situation like that, how would you kind of like tell a young coach, like, how should they handle it? Because part of that is sometimes you do have to, guys can get raucous and rowdy, right? We can be idiots at times. So how do you handle that as well?
It's a tough question, but
Yes.
I think I don't give a whole lot of tough. I'm not gonna lie. When I approach these kids, listen, if they do something dumb where they screw something up, of course, we discipline. But I think when you take a step back and a kid screws up in a race,
Yeah,
I think it's all about the lesson they have to learn. Right. If it's because they gave up in the race, gave up on themselves, like, that's a conversation you have to have. But it's not, hey, you suck. Why'd you do that?
Right.
It's more of,
no.
hey, man, why did you feel the need to do that? What can we do to fix it next time? If they had a bad race because they got a cramp, like, I'm not going to yell at them. I just tell a story years ago. I was at a sectionals when I was coaching at Homedale. My dad was with me, and we won barely. And we were walking by the team that we beat, and the coach was berating the fifth man. And I was worried about them for next week at the state meet, like, berating him. He ran a poor race, whatever. And as we walked away, I said, "Oh, they're going to be tough next week." And my dad said, "No, they're not."
All right.
What do you mean? He's like, "That fifth man's not running well."
That kid has no confidence now. Yep.
Exactly. So I think building them up and giving them confidence and teaching them that making a mistake is okay.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
so important, because you want them taking as many chances as they possibly can.
Right.
Because that's when they run fast. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, that stuff is something that I've learned too, because growing up in the 90s, like, my coach wasn't like that. Like, he was like, boom, like, tough. Like, every day was hard. It was tough. And I learned a lot, I think, in other ways. But in terms of, like, do I feel maybe looking back that maybe if there was maybe a little more in that, like, hey, I got you, the department, maybe that would change things? I don't know. But I definitely agree with you there. So I want to get back into the whole culture thing. Being the fact that you were a student at CBA, how much of the things that you learned from your time as an athlete do you still kind of put into play now as a coach? Or, I mean, obviously it's 2026, technology, everything's changed in so many ways, so it's kind of hard to compare. But I'm sure that there's some things that you might have learned from being there, because there's nothing more impressive than going to, like, the Meet of Champs and just seeing the group of alumni or fans from CBA. Like, it's impressive. So it obviously shows that you guys have an amazing culture. So did that start to grow within you when you were an athlete there?
Yeah, I mean, when I was an athlete, I was just there for freshman and part of sophomore year. We used to get a huge crowd at meets. I remember some of the meet of champions were nuts back then, even more so than now.
Yeah.
I think having that culture, like, and getting the alumni to buy into what you're doing is so important. We write updates every couple weeks with emails. We invite them to things. We have Carl Torscher runs a Christmas Eve speed where on Christmas Eve all alumni come and they race a 200.
Which I'm surprised not seeing. This is the one show Carl doesn't watch. Like Carl watches every single show and throws comments in. This is the one show that we haven't had a Carl comment yet.
Yeah, he's got the state relays coming up. He's stressed,
Oh, there you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I think growing that alumni base is so important. Like when we go to Arcadia in California, I'll invite guys that I know are on the West Coast. Some show up, some don't. Sure. I mean, we were out in Portland and 2 alumni were there.
That's really cool. Hey, there he is. Yeah. Coach Torchia, I am here. What's up, Coach? And I will give you a shout out. Fred Huckleberry III. Here's your shout out. What's up? And Michael King, I did come back. All right. Keep going, Coach.
But those little moments, like the Christmas Eve speed is it's not hard work. It's literally just inviting people. And they show up and they have a great time. And I think
hopefully no injuries. I know if I ran a 200, man, oh my God, I would pull every single muscle just getting down to start. I'd go run my 50 and hurt myself.
You would much rather get the 35-year-old alumni hurt than the junior kid who's
35. I love being 35. I'll take 37.
I believe this year my assistant coach Connor Lunny ran in the heat with I think he was in the heat with Liam O'Hare, who was on a 4x1 that qualified for the NCs last year.
See, my fear, I would get on the line and I would get beaten by a 50-year-old and I'd be like, all right, I'm not even going to walk anymore. I'm just going to get a wheelchair. Like, I don't have the rights. Like, I would not want to do that. Like, I would be a coward.
Yeah, but that alumni is so important to us. There's an old guard that floats around. Some of them are officials and they're around all the time. But the young guys, of course, we have tons of them. I've really tried to work hard to make it so our seniors are finishing out their careers and excited to keep running, whether it's on a college team or as a club or by themselves. One of my best guys, Carter Cox, graduated last year. He ran a 77 half marathon in December.
Hey, there you go.
Little things like that are big, and we were in an alumni chat. They were all excited about it and everything, so that was cool. So
we have another cool question coming from Gabe again, Gabe O'Nor. Where's your favorite personal indoor track to run and or coach at?
My favorite indoor track is probably Homedale Park.
I feel like that's the default. Like,
put a bubble over it. We're good.
Yeah, put the bubble over it. That's the home track, the indoor track.
It'll be about 95 degrees hotter, but.
So I think Ocean Breeze. It's the easiest place to have kids warm up. You can move around a little bit.
We had Lauren Primerano on the show. She was awesome. She's the one that runs all the stuff there. She was fantastic. Yep. My personal favorite, I friggin' love BU. Just as an athlete going there, the magic carpet. I know, the warm-ups, you got to go warm up outside basically. But man,
it's fast.
I was a terrible collegiate runner, but I was good at BU. Every time I went to BU, I ran a good race. Awful everywhere else. Just good at BU. The magic carpet does something. So Coach Rapp coming in. What's up, Coach Rapp? He says, Coach, thanks for trying to get my winter runners to stay for the spring.
Yeah. I really can't comment on that. But
it's the if you know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we've heard. I love what I've heard from you in terms of building a team through love, through kindness, through and that's, I think, a different approach than I think a lot of people would expect at a top program, right? I think a lot of people expect to see that drill sergeant, that this and that. So is that what you feel sets you apart from other, public schools, private schools, and, the prep schools, which has been on the rise and more and more?
So going out to NXN, I think a lot of the coaches out there are very similar with that. Very few coaches are tough guys out there. I think there are times when certain kids need that, but I think that that just doesn't work. We can look back and say, oh, the shoes have made it so everybody's faster. And like, well, you know what? Maybe being nice to kids, seriously, and treating them respectfully and teaching them to treat each other and the sport with respect.
Yeah.
I think has played a bigger role. But if you talk to, Kelly Christensen at Niwot, Timo Mostert at American Fork, they are some of the nicest guys. They're very different from me, but just great people and respectful of everybody else at the meet. And I think there's more of that now than there was in the past. And I think that's getting people faster around here. I think sometimes coaches get caught up in the training and the secrets and forget to just convince their kids that whatever it is they're doing is right.
Yep.
And if you can convince them to trust you and believe in you, the sky's the limit. They can't put limits on themselves. They can't look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I want to break 420." Great. What if you run 419? You're already there. Let's move on from that. So I think it's really, really important to get them to trust you, and yelling and screaming at them or giving them a hard time is not the way to do that. It just doesn't work.
When do you think that change happened? Because that was, like Dave said, that was a very old school thing. And even when I was there, you still had a lot of hard ass coaches that were that way. So when do you think that change really started to take form, where more coaches realize that, like, maybe if I'm nice to people, they'll do more things that I want them to do. And they still will respect me,
Right. I think there was always coaches like that.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. I'd like to think my father, most of his career, did not coach that way. Certainly when he came back to Donovan Catholic, I believe, Alex, you were in high school then.
Yep.
When he was coaching with Jack O'Leary.
Yep.
And Tom Reebold.
And Ray Coles was there. And
yes.
there was some really good runners on that team.
Very good.
Very good. I remember before Ray got there, I was the shiny freshman in the area. And then Ray goes there and just does significantly better things than I could do, because he was just a monster. And what was it? George, what was George's last name? George
Kelly.
was there with him. Yeah.
No, not George Kelly.
No, not George Kelly. George.
Because I was coaching over at South End, so I don't remember.
I forget, but he was right there, and they were just, those two just took, especially the B South in the county, by storm. They were.
I just remember Ryan Blaney from the 90s.
Yeah. But I think, I think during the pandemic, a lot of coaches started to change their tune on things. I think there is a young influx even in the NCAA, and I think a lot of that old schoolness just has moved on, and you're seeing the fruits of it. And also we're being recorded all the time. And,
yes, that is true.
There's something to that as well. But if I can look a kid in the eye and tell him I love him and care about him and I can't wait to see him race, that's going to work a lot better than being negative and giving him a hard time about stuff.
Sure.
So real quick, I just want to get Gabe O'Nor, you were asking about running without socks and spikes compared to running with socks. Honestly, I think it's a personal preference. I think that I
was a socks guy.
You'll get some blisters. If you want to just wear some compression socks, sometimes I used to wear some really cool compression socks in high school.
I haven't worn spikes in about 20 years, so I'm the wrong person to ask about that. I used to, I'm sure they're so different now. I used to wear socks, but I couldn't, most of my kids don't, but I couldn't tell you what's more comfortable or not, because I haven't worn spikes in 20 years.
Hey, I just know there's some people that are crazy about weight, especially in distance runners. And
not anymore, man.
The socks will add. I've heard of people calculating how much a sock weighs and then how much it is per step. And it's like, man, if you're fast, that's not going to matter.
True.
You'll be fine. I promise.
Just something extra to just put in your mind that you don't have to worry about.
I absolutely promise you'll be okay. All right, so we talked a little bit about the expectations. I want to talk about the changing landscape right now, because obviously, every year, it seems like there's new things being piled on to the college level, which trickles down. We heard Coach Tefelsky on the show about a month ago, and he's right. College always trickles down to high school. It's just how it works. So how is this affecting you as a coach with a lot of the kids just transferring everywhere? NILs. I mean, I think prep schools have become more prevalent in the sport with, like, we're seeing people go to Bullis, we're seeing IMG, we have whatchamacallit, Lawrenceville in our backyard, like we talked about. Blair's amazing, right? How have these changes affected you and your approach and some of the things that maybe you guys might want to do or try to do at the school?
So we are allowed to recruit now, 8th grade and below. I think last time we talked, we were not allowed to.
Right.
It's, this is the third year we've been allowed to do that. I don't really heavily recruit at all.
Is that kind of a response to how aggressive the preps have started to come? Was that kind of something or like that?
I mean,
Or?
listen,
The NJSA decided, like, we can't police it. So they're going to be really strict on recruiting high school kids. Like, so I am not allowed to call up a Manasquan kid and say, hey, come to my school. But 8th grade and below, you can. I don't agree with it. I'm doing it, but I don't think it's healthy for 13, even 12-year-olds to have that attention. So what we'll do is we send a letter as best we can to the school, and what it's allowed us to do, which I think is a good thing, we have open houses. We've always had open houses, and kids would come, and we're really not allowed. We weren't in the past allowed to reach out to them after that. And a lot of the kids didn't understand that, and they'd be like, well, you don't want me there. And it's like, well, no, I'm not allowed to. So now we're allowed to, like, email them and chat
How
with
much
them.
was that explaining it to the parents too, right? Because I can imagine some of the parents would be, and listen, we've all been coaches, and I know you guys don't want to be mean to your parents. I'm not a coach of anyone, so I can. Sometimes the parents make everything worse because it's like the kids are great, but then the parents, if you don't get the parents to also buy into the culture, then
100%.
that makes all the difference, right? If you have a father or mother that thinks that their kid is outside the culture, outside the team, going to do all this and that, that will 100% dismantle everything. So it's not to disparage the parents, but it's like, if you're not getting them to buy in as well, then I can imagine that's hard. So is that also a part of your mission too, as the coach, to get these incoming freshman parents to be like,
Absolutely.
you're trusting them to come here, please trust me? Like, what is, like, we can get to the parents real quick. How do you handle that as they're coming in and building that culture without getting yourself in trouble? Be nice.
No. There you always have issues here and there. You just have to communicate all the time and apologize when you make a mistake. Most parents are very respectful. And we also use the parents of our older athletes to educate the younger ones. I think that is the most important thing. Luke Nag, Gavin Schmidt, the Falkowskis, they've been in our program for a long time now. And so when they say, hey, this is how it goes, those freshman parents kind of buy in and get it. We are also part of a greater whole that is Christian Brothers Academy, and how they deal with parents is the idea is you drop your kid off and we are going to educate him.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of how we deal with things. Like, of course, the parents are involved. We have mother's club, father's club, all that stuff. But discipline, things like that, it's on us to take care of that. And most parents are very respectful of that and understand that, because we are trying to teach these young men to be really good contributors to our community, their outside communities, their families. And to do that, you have to let them fail. You have to let them succeed. You have to teach them when they succeed and fail. So those older parents, the parents of older athletes, are so crucial to that. And it's never perfect. It is people, and that's okay. And as a coach, you just have to take a step back and say, this isn't going to be perfect, and Was our cross country season perfect? No. Was it the best on the East Coast ever? Probably. So
It's
you
so
know,
bizarre, right? Where you
yeah,
could sit there and look at it in one lens as a coach, and us on the outside are like, "That was amazing," and you on the
Right.
coach is like, "Could have been better," but it's like, "What the hell? What do you mean could have been better?
Yeah.
Like it was amazing."
yeah. Well, I mean, there were times in October where like I was close to hitting the panic button in
Wow.
terms of how good we could be. Because I knew they could be so good.
Right.
And it was like they're just not gelling and they're not coming together. And luckily it did. So, but anyway, and the parents have a lot to do with that, by the way.
Sure.
So I'm curious too, because we don't get to talk to as many coaches, individuals that have like the national level stuff, right? Have you encountered anything with the transfer portal yet? I know it's still pretty newish in terms of athletes like going to like these prep schools, right? Because we're seeing a lot of that. Have you encountered any of that? And if you were to, how would you go about handling that? And if you don't want to touch on that, you don't have to. Again, I don't want to put you on a spot here or something that you can or can't say, but I just, I find it just interesting at high school athletes and how they're treating the sport. And again, like I see these prep schools coming up, and I don't know. I'm not sure if it's helping or hurting the sport. I'm really not sure. I'm happy athletes can go places like that, but at the same time,
I mean, it's
God, I
weird.
would love to see, like at least if I know someone from Jersey's going to CBA, they're staying in friggin' Jersey, right? Like I still get to have Jersey pride. Like I don't know. Like, so you don't have to go crazy or comment, or if you want to make just general comments, you can.
It really hasn't affected us much at all.
Okay.
We really try to keep things internally where, hey, like these are the guys that are on our team. This is what we have. This is what we're working with. And, yes, we reach out to kids and tell them about CBA and hope they choose. And again, pay $21,000 a year to come to the school. It's not just,
Right.
we can't give money.
It's not like, hey, you're fast, you get to go here free.
No,
Like they still
no,
have to
no,
pay,
no.
right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize that.
No, Sean, didn't you know that you give full rides and scholarships, and you actually take them to like lobster dinners every Saturday? Can we just go? Here's the thing. I find it like when there's like rumors, I feel like you should just like lean into them and be like, actually
Yeah.
Jay-Z's coming to perform a concert and and the kids don't have to pay. Like, what, like,
Yeah. I do think the transferring we've got to figure something out.
Yeah.
We are educators first and last, and kids should be going to school for an education. And
Yep.
yes, kids should be able to go to a school that helps them be the best version of themselves. And if you are a certain type of musician that requires a certain type of teacher, schools in Monmouth County like high tech, biotech, places like
Yep.
that, like.
Yep.
I don't think all kids need to go to those places, but there are some kids that I've taught that are like, oh, man, like you really need to go to that place and start your studies. But it really is, we are educators first and last. And, the kids that walk through our hallways and walk into my classroom and walk into our track house, like those are the kids we're going to care about and make sure have the best experience for 4 years of their lives. I've gotten transfers before in the past. They are hit or miss in terms of what they do for our program. Some of them are very successful and individually. Some of them are very successful and are a big part of the team. But some of them just never really gel into the group and become part of us. And it makes it difficult to coach because other kids get upset that, hey, this kid came in and he wasn't part of us as freshmen, and
It's the
other
buy-in.
kids come in and understand the position they put other kids in and are open about it, and I think that helps. But transfers are tough. It's tough to build a program, build a team when it's constantly changing, and I think it's going to eventually ruin college sports. I think people are going to stop watching football and basketball as much as they do now. I was actually talking to Brian Lynch today, the CBA basketball coach, about transfers, and his assistant, Steve Bazaz. Like, at some point, the NCAA basketball tournament, which has been one of the greatest sporting events, is not going to be the same because every good kid that's out of Monmouth, that's at a Marist, is going to leave and go to another school. And so you're not going to have those upsets or those teams that have kids for 4 or 5 years and really learn to play with each other. And it's the same in a cross country and track program. Like you're developing these kids from freshman year, not just to be good runners, but to be good people. And when a kid walks in junior year and doesn't see that or get that, it's tough. It's challenging.
Yeah. And, and the one thing I will say to XC and track runners that are transferring and doing all this stuff, I almost get it if you're a football player, a basketball player, a baseball player, right? Because there's you're trying to get to those pro leagues the best way you can, right? In those pro leagues, if you make it, you're a millionaire. You're set. We don't got that really, guys. Like in XC and track, like you got the 1% really, and then you kind of got everyone else. If you're not Sid, if you're not a few of them, like we don't have that league that kind of guarantees that stability if you get there. So it's like, is all this moving and shaking without getting the education really worth it, right? Like,
here's a hot take.
Go ahead.
Here's a hot take. If you are tracking towards the NBA, the NFL, or MLB, and your team is losing, you're probably not going to the NFL, MLB, or
That's
NBA,
true.
right? If you're that good, your team wins.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, like in college, especially, yes, there's a lot of movement on the athletes, but there's also a lot of movement on the coaches. Like coaches are leaving every other year. So a kid gets recruited, they come in, they want to run for that coach is gone. Like, is that kid supposed to just stay because that's where they said they were?
You know how I feel about the coaching, Dave. My solution is if a coach is under contract and he leaves, he can't coach for a year for the new school. And I think that would, prevent that from, prevent a lot of the coaches from just like, we won't see the Lane Kiffins as often, right? Where it's like, I'm in a great situation. I'm dipping out right before their playoff. Like, I think you would see a lot more coaches at least be like, okay, let me ride out this contract. I'm still in a good situation. Like, I get striking while the fire is hot. If you're at a mid-major and you're making decent money, but then this major school is calling and you can become a millionaire, I get it. But at the same time, how are we going to teach young men and women to kind of honor their word if we're not willing to honor ours, right? Like, so it's a double-edged sword. It's not the easiest thing to answer there.
No.
So I think this is an interesting question. And we might get some people mad at you, but let's do it. Who is the best CBA runner in the past decade, in your opinion?
Okay. It's a tough one. We've had some really, really good runners.
At least he didn't say in your history, because that would have been like, okay, let's get a Rolodex out with your hit. Like,
so I think 2016 puts right at the end of Blaze. So I'm going to say Luke Nat. He's the All-American that we've had in the past 10 years, right? Obviously, Joe Barrett, Blaze Farrow was right at the end of that 2016.
Right.
He was pretty good, but and in college,
he
took off in college.
Phenomenal,
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Luke Nat.
You'll get some angry alumni texts now. They're going to listen to this and be like, seriously, coach?
I'm going to get a text from Gavin Schmidt. Just wait till next year.
Gavin's going to be like, I'm not running tomorrow.
Well, you know what? They have a very healthy competitiveness.
Sure.
They're both really nice kids, and I think they're training partners, so they understand that they help each other out, and I think it's a good, healthy competition. So.
Now, what about in your history? We got the follow-up here.
That's
wow. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
It's hard to compare kind of the generations too with, differences in tech and obvious like advancements in every which way. I think you can kind of go by generation. I think splitting it up into 10, 20 year would be fairer.
This isn't the best kid I ever had, but I think it's the best kind of story I had. I had a kid named Andrew Sy over at Homedale. He, as a freshman, couldn't break 7 minutes in the mile.
Yeah. Wow. So
I'd bring him to the bubble and put him in a mile, like a JV race mile, and say, hey, you're done after the 800, right? Because he would run like 9 minutes. And eventually, at the end of his freshman year, was running 7 minutes or so. Sophomore year, he runs 4:55 right at the end of the year. I'm like, all right.
Okay, some progress.
He was getting better. Yeah,
that's a lot. It's a major stride.
Yeah. Ended up running 16:20 at Homedale, 9:20, and like 4:18.
That's awesome.
So to me, that is the best runner I ever had because he worked so hard to improve from where he was. And yeah, he wasn't the fastest. I mean, he was pretty fast.
Yeah.
He wasn't the
Yeah, that
fastest.
ended up being pretty friggin' fast, man.
Exactly. And to me, those types of kids have as much impact on my life as Luke Nadd and Joe Barrett, who win me the champions titles and such. So
Sure.
both sides of that are amazing to me. And again, what Luke did this year, what Joe Barrett did for 4 years, was truly amazing. And what Gavin is going to do over the next couple months and next year is going to be amazing. So, yeah.
So let's talk about indoor and a little bit of outdoor. What are the goals, the expectations that we're going to see, like, indoor right now? Where are we trying to hit our marks?
So indoor, I have generally a couple goals for the team. We want to win state titles with the whole team. Short conference is a pretty big deal for us as well. Last year we lost by like a third of a point or something. It was one of the best meets
That was the best shot put because everybody was over there.
Yeah,
it was just fantastic.
And if you look at the times throughout that meet,
It was awesome.
God.
I mean,
it was so competitive. I remember Dave just giving me updates because obviously I'm up here in New York. So I'm just getting texts and I'm also like trying to sit there and follow like the auto scoring and stuff. I'm like, all right, let me do it here. Like, it was
everybody
awesome.
wanted to watch North versus CBA. Like, it was an all-time battle.
Cool. And what's crazy is there was maybe only like 2 or 3 events where we actually competed against each other.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a tale of two teams. It really
but it
was.
happened to be the last event that was left.
Yes.
Like, it came down and like they had to throw. You guys had a ton of great throwers, and they had a thrower, and it was it was awesome.
So that's important to us. Getting a distance medley qualifier for Penn is important to us, and then getting seed times for Arcadia and nationals. That's kind of our goals right there. 1, 2, 3. And try to make it so our guys don't have to over race too much the first month to 6 weeks is super, super important because they just raced December 7th.
Yeah.
In a big race. They get 2 weeks off, and so they're just now starting to get back in shape a little bit. So
100%.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a peripheral question, but CBA, you're only dealing with the gentlemen there. There are no ladies. How fun was it for you just as a fan at times to look over at the girl side of these meets and see what Paige was doing, what Blair was doing, what Leah was doing, and just enjoying and like taking in some, like, you guys are running well and fast, but did you become a fan at times, if you had the chance to watch what those girls were doing? Because it was incredible.
So don't get to watch too much at all. But I will say, out at nationals, it was awesome. It was a great New Jersey party. We did get to there's a break enough between the boys race and the girls race where we do get to watch. And I mean, 2 New Jersey teams, 3rd and 9th in the boys.
Yeah, so cool.
Those Haddonfield kids really turned around.
What a season.
It was going to be a terrible season. They had some illnesses, and they really came on well at the end. And Coach Matt Cieslik did a tremendous job leading them. And a crazy story about them is I remember when Coach Nick Baker passed away. It was the night before Manhattan, and I was leaving the starting line at Manhattan for the Eastern States. And I was walking away, and a buddy of mine, John Grady, who coaches at Bishop Eustace, had texted me, hey, Nick Baker passed away. And as I was reading that, the Haddonfield boys, who were all sophomores at the time, were finishing their race, and the announcer was announcing, "Oh, here comes Haddonfield!" And they all ran out of their minds that day, and that was the start of something very special. And it's great that Matt was able to kind of pick up where Nick left off and do what he did this year. It was, and those boys really care about their program and everything, so it was great. But going out there, and then Paige and the Union Catholic girls, they are really nice kids. It's nice. We get on a plane to Portland, and they're on the plane with us. They're sitting. It just makes it. Haddonfield was on the plane with us. It's a lot of fun. And then Blair being out there finishing second, I had the chance to talk to her and her mom for a couple, minute or so, and just so excited to be running and be out there. It was like a New Jersey party for me, and I think it makes it easier for our boys when they look on the plane and there's Union Catholics there and Haddonfield's there. It's just it makes it a little more comfortable. So
Sure.
it was fun watching and cheering on Union Catholic girls. We're out there. I can't do it when I'm here in New Jersey as much because we are competing against the boys.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be able to do that and support them.
So another question in terms of the XC season, how much does it sometimes help you as a coach when you have one of these public schools like a Haddonfield or like with Coach Tefelsky in Westfield a few years ago that are running really, really good seasons as well? Does that kind of help you at times as a coach to look at your boys and go, hey, we can't slip up. Like if we slip up too much, that's a really good team there and they could be making headlines. Like, does that give you sometimes any extra fuel, or are you guys just super focused on what you're doing?
I think having a local team that's good helps.
Sure.
Definitely does. Westfield, we were able to talk about them a lot and talk about trying to beat them and how to beat them. I'm glad they weren't in our county. I think if it's a little too close to home, it's a little tough.
Yeah.
But having a guy like Clay Stevens in some of the races and Jay Adamala, like that helps, right?
Sure.
And it makes it more fun for the kids when there's a challenge. That way, when you actually have challenge, you know how to deal with it, right? And winning New Jersey is an incredible honor that I don't slight. I don't try to take that for granted ever at all. Even Doug Souls out at Harriman often talks about the ultimate goal is winning the Utah State Championship.
Right.
And then after that, we try to figure out, nationals and such. So having another team, Haddonfield, having Union Catholic, in the coming year or two, Westfield a couple years ago, it's going to help us be better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and too, I mean, there's just something different about cross country because it has that team title, like winter track sprint, they don't have that. There's just something unique about that race, like who's the best team. And because we all know, we talked about this some, like in track, the best team doesn't always win. The team with the best guys always wins, like who could score most points. But like you could take some of those teams that win and put them in a dual meet and they might lose to a team that they, so it's just nice in cross country that we see who the best actual team is head up.
Right.
Yeah, at least that day, right? At least if everyone's clicking that day. So the last thing I do want to bring up is, I don't want to close out on a somber note, but I do want to give you a chance because we haven't talked to you for a while. And since then, we had the unfortunate loss of Alex Kemp,
right.
One of your former athletes who, unfortunate skiing accident and really hitting his stride in college too.
Yeah.
At that time, it was early last year. I don't know if you want to say a few things about Alex. I know you said some stuff early on, especially after the incident happened and things like that.
Okay.
But if there's anything you want to say to, the kid Alex was and the person he was and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, the year anniversary just passed on the 7th of his death.
Yeah.
So that was a big day for us and the guys on the team. Yeah, Alex was great. I think his freshman and sophomore year, he was trying to find his way on the team, and he found it in a big way. Junior and senior years, very, very intelligent kid. Obviously going to Williams, one of the best schools in the country, in the world. And he passed away living life to its fullest, and that's what he did. He was a fun kid. He was a happy kid. His family, obviously his brother Max is on our team now, and they are so supportive of what we do. And he was just an amazing kid, and he changed the way a lot of us think about everything we do before he passed away. That balance of, hey, I'm a really good student, I'm a really good runner, but I can go out, I can have fun, I can enjoy my teammates and things like that. And I think that's something our guys learned. And then when he got to college, man, he was starting to take off.
He was really hitting his stride. Like he was, you have those like later bloomers that get to college and they really go. And Alex was certainly getting to that point.
Yeah. And since his death, I think the boys have really embraced life in a different way. And it's helped our leading with love, right? They really, really care about each other. They constantly worry about each other. Even some I hate to call them random freshmen, but new freshmen on the team that they barely know. Like if something happens, they go running over to help. And I think a lot of that comes from Alex and what he taught us about being good people and being good to each other. So yeah, rest in peace. He was a great young man. Yeah, I'll never forget him. So
Yeah. 100%. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that, and appreciate you coming on the show. Dave,
Yeah.
do you have anything else before we jump out of here?
No, it's just great seeing Sean have all this success. Like I said, in case you guys don't know, I've known Sean since 8th grade. We used to go on the runs together in middle school, and then we had our pass crossed at Rutgers for a little bit, and it's just always good seeing someone that you've known for so long just do what they love and just be able to have so much success at it. So keep going, Sean. There's gonna be out there people who hate just to hate. So just ignore them and just keep on doing what you're doing. Because I always say it's with me as a coach alongside you, it's all about the respect. Like I want to get my program to look anywhere similar to what you have already built there. So keep on going and keep on doing what you're doing.
and it's not my success; it's the kids' success.
Everyone, yes.
I'm enthusiastic and I show up, and their level goes beyond that.
Yep.
And that's it. So,
and just goes on saying, we're big fans of you on the show. We've always, we love seeing what you do and what CBA does and things like that. And the way you've been able to continue Coach Heath's great, accomplishments and take CBA to sometimes new heights and stuff. Like, it's awesome to see. And it's like I said, I'm a public school guy. Dave's a public school guy, but when it comes to the Jersey Pride, we can root for the private school. You guys are kicking ass on the regional national stage and stuff like that. So, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Everyone, if you want to go follow CBA on their awesome journey, go CBA XC. Is that on both X and Instagram? Am I messed up only with X or?
I'm more on Instagram. We really don't use X that much.
Okay, so I was wrong. Instagram. And go follow Coach over at Coach Sean McCafferty on Instagram. Ignore the X there. I screwed up. And go follow us everywhere at Talking in Ovals. Wherever you watch from, don't forget to click the like bucket. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. And we'll be back next week. Everybody, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.